everybody. Welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car, but safer. I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts.
Hello, Rob. It's me, Diana.
Hi, it's me, Jackie.
Oh boy. Well, everybody, it is a podcast about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research most weeks, but this week, it's our preview episode. This comes out for the end of the month for our Patreon subscribers, at the beginning of the month for everyone else on the free feed. And this is the episode where we tell you what's coming up in the month, as well as other fun things related to the show and behavior analysis that we want to chat about for, just a little bit of time, because there's so much summering to be had.
I have a sunburn already.
Already? Yikes.
Yep. And while I was walking the dogs extra early this morning, because it's going to be 90 degrees today in some parts,
Woo.
Because it's summer, a goat was loose. And was just...
And did you catch him?
He just followed me on my walk, and I just walked him home. And my dogs were looking like, what? What is that following us? But he just slowly walked. He had horns, too.
Oh, you should have put him in your car, brought him over, because I got I got one poison ivy. I want him to eat it.
There, next time.
Okay.
I'll take the long walk over here on the busy road with the goat that's untethered.
Yeah, just give me, I'll be like, eat this. He's like wrapped around this one tree. I want you to eat it, and then I don't have to deal with it, because I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. Anyway, we're not talking about poison ivy. We got to talk about July, because July, traditionally, is this the third or fourth or fifth time we've done this? We've got guests. They'll help us make some podcast apps.
Wow, that was good.
I have to admit, I did write that in the shower yesterday, so not spontaneous.
That is a shower song.
I had a second verse, but I forgot what it was, so we'll leave it there. Yes, it's guest month. We do, often have guests on the show. We usually try to have maybe one or two a month during the rest of the year, but during July, it's just all-star guests nonstop. Every episode, there's a guest. Is this month any different, Diana?
Nope.
Tell us about these guests and their episode topics.
Okay, so we have several episodes prepared for you for July. Lots and lots of stuff is coming out. July happens to be a month with 5 Wednesdays. Plus, we have last year's book club. No, I'm sorry. We have this year's book club coming out.
Last year's book club.
Yeah, I see that.
Wow.
That's just for patrons. So that will come out sometime during the month of July. The Body Keeps the Score book club. But in addition to that, we have a release for you every Wednesday. And the first one is going to be Parent Training and Social Validity Practices. And that is with doctors Jillian Wilson and Roseanne Lesack. They are going to bring to us their research to discuss. And so that article is titled Parent Perceptions of Behavior Analytic Interventions by Wilson and Lesack, published in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2024. Also to go with that, an oldie but goodie, The Problem of Parental Non-Adherence in Clinical Behavior Analysis, Effective Treatment is Not Enough, by Allen and Warzak. And that was in JABA back in the year 2000.
That seems like so short ago, but so long ago.
That's a long time ago.
After that, we will be discussing identifying questionable research practices with Dr. Matt Tincani. And he has provided us with 2 different articles to discuss in his episode. They include Extension of Open Science for Applied Behavior Analysis, Pre-Registration for Single Case Experimental Designs by Tincani, Gilroy, and Dowdy. And that was published in JABA 2024. Also, Questionable and Improved Research Practices in Single Case Experimental Design, Initial Investigation and Findings by Tincani, Travers, Dowdy, Slocum, and Dietrich. And that was in Perspectives on Behavior Science 2025.
Something that I learned from Matt is how important it is to pre-register, because if you don't, they might be sold out of journal, and then you can't publish your research. So you want to get there. Get the VIP tier pre-registration.
Is that true?
No, that's not true. Diana, you have to listen to the episode to find out if I'm joking.
And then we have another episode in our professional collaboration series. This one is professional collaboration with special educators with our good longtime friend, Carolyn Beaumier, will be joining us for that episode. We have several articles to review, including Navigating Collaboration, Factors Influencing Special Education Teachers' Relationships with BCBAs in Diverse School Contexts by Squires, Coutre, Parega, Morris, Ellsworth, Miller, and Hansen. And that was in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2024.
I like that. I like that, Squires. I like it so much I have 2 copies of it, but I couldn't find one of them. And then I found it the other day. And now I have 2. Just where will I put them?
You know what you'll do is frame them and hang them up in your bedroom.
Oh, maybe. I have a bunch of binders. And guess what? I just got a label maker. So I'm going to pre-label all of our ABA Inside Track binders.
It'll be
all
like
the
really
articles.
Exciting.
There'll be a label cool. That'll be like refrigerator, stove.
I know. I was like, what else can I label? Books should go here. This book goes here. Don't ever put it elsewhere.
It is actually pretty funny when people first get a label maker and then your passion for labeling goes away, but you can always tell when someone gets a label maker because like everything is labeled. It's like silverware,
car, house.
Yep.
Wow, I know how to label all of these things.
All our children will have labels.
Yeah. It only came with this really great, like the sample pack of labels. So it's like black background on like fancy gold text. So everything I label now looks like some sort of a disco from the 70s. It's great.
Okay, back to the episode. We will also be talking about conceptualizing and utilizing board-certified behavior analysts as related services providers in inclusion-oriented schools by Jean Greco, Pennington, and Walker. That was in Remedial and Special Education 2023. And finally, school-based transdisciplinary teaming to maximize behavioral supports by Riley, Crowell, Thole, D'Angelo, and Young Savannah Bach. And that was in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2025. And then to round out the month of July, we will be speaking with Dr. James Meindl about predicting and preventing mass shootings. There are a couple articles to review with this topic, and they include Reducing Media-Induced Mass Killings, Lessons from Suicide Prevention by Meindl and Ivy. And that was published in American Behavioral Scientist 2018. And also, Towards a Functional Account of Mass Shootings, Prediction and Influence of Violent Behavior by Meindl, Ivy, Delgado, and Swafford. And this is under review.
Oh, a tragedy about the topic of shootings, especially in America. And neither of these were mass shootings. But as I was preparing that episode, there was the, kind of the follow-up from the shooting of the United Healthcare CEO. And in the time since I prepared talking about that episode, we've had the shooting of this senator in Minnesota. So this is a very important topic. So while those wouldn't necessarily count as under the category of mass shootings, they, I think we'll talk about some of the relations and some of the factors that kind of go into sort of this just horrible, horrible issue that we have in our country and sort of what there is and is not being done about it. We'll try not to make it too. Well, we'll make it as political as we want to. You know what? I'm not going to apologize if we make it political. It's our podcast. We'll see where James wants to go with the politicization, though, because as our guest, we don't want to be rude. And sometimes talking politics makes for a rude visit. We don't want that. So those are a lot of great episodes. And like you said, Diana, we also have The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk episode coming out in July. I think the goal...
He won't be here.
He will not be here. No.
Just us and book club guy, Alan Haberman.
Yes, we'll be here doing our normal book club. So everyone on the free feed, you're going to get a extended preview of that probably the first week in July. But it'll be the first or second week in July. Usually we put those out on a Monday, so they don't get in the way of the regular episodes. Not that they're not awesome as well, but so you have time to space out your listening. And then for everyone who is subscribed at the $10 and up level on our Patreon page, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track, you'll be able to get the full 2-hour discussion of the book. And it's a long book. We probably could have done more than 2 hours. Although, like many books, it starts to get diminishing returns as we get to the end of the 400 pages or something it was. But you can hear the whole discussion as well as a lot of fun background information that we learned surrounding the book, as well as 2 free CEs if you're at that $10 level. Again, that's patreon.com/ABA Inside Track. So if you have not subscribed, well, maybe you would like to, is my not very demanding call to action. Very passive.
You don't have to, but you could.
You could, maybe if you want to, sort of. Okay. That is what's coming out in July. Very exciting. Very exciting. We love having guests. We love having visitors. And now it's time for the errata section of the show, where we talk about pretty much anything else related to the show. Sometimes we get emails or messages from folks. This month, though, I think we're going to focus mainly on two things, which are our polls. We had a lot of polls come out in June, and I know everyone is waiting with bated breath. I don't know what they baited their breath with, but it is baited and ready to go.
Mine's with lavender.
Gross.
Lavender.
Now, imagine people like, oh, your breath is baited. I better chase you down. Ugh. No, don't
That's what it means.
What does it mean?
It's like holding your breath.
That's bait. Oh, like baited?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's BATED. There's no I in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not
No.
baited as in like fish bait.
No, you know what? I knew it was spelled that way, but I did not actually recognize that those would be two separate things. Spelling's weird.
I like it baited with lavender, though.
Yeah,
I have like
baited with
lavender
breath.
in my mouth. I'm like this. Hope everyone can see
It's
that.
like a Looney Tune where like everyone's like following the breath. All right, so we've got two polls that we did in June, and thank you so much for folks who reached out about it or who voted on our Patreon page. We had our listener choice for summer, which will be coming out in August, and we have our book club poll. So the listener choice is just for the summer. We'll do another one of those in the fall. So if you missed that, don't worry. You can subscribe on Patreon, and you'll get a chance to vote in the fall listener choice. But we had 3 choices for listener choice. And we had factors influencing the efficiency of skill acquisition, person-centered planning, and motivational interviewing. And the winner was factors influencing the efficiency of skill acquisition.
Fascinating.
Oh my God, thank you.
Good job,
Thank
Diana.
you. Thank you
Diana's
so much.
topic, to which when she found out that her topic 1 said, ooh, I don't think I have any actual articles for those. I didn't think I was going to win.
I've never, ever won any of our polls,
That's
ever.
true.
No, you finally picked a topic that resonated
I
with
couldn't
the
believe it.
listeners. Whereas I was thinking motivational interviewing. I thought it was going to have its moment, and it got blanked. Nobody liked it.
Oh.
So that just means we'll do it as a regular episode. In your face, voters. When we
Ouch.
control the show, we choose the topics. But I guess you showed me and Jackie for the summer at least. And we'll be doing skill acquisition and factors influencing skill acquisition. So very excited about that topic. I think it's an interesting topic. It's probably the most interesting of the 3.
I mean, I'm interested in it. And just so everyone knows, it's really reinforcement factors in influencing skill acquisition specifically.
Yeah.
There are many factors. These are just the reinforcements.
Okay.
The
Very-
reinforcements.
All right. So that takes care of that poll. But what was our other poll, folks? What else was our big poll?
Book
Don't
club.
know. Oh.
Go.
Diana.
Diana, you got to make it to these production meetings.
She was here
All right.
in body.
But not in.
In body.
So we did this one a little bit differently. We used to sort of do a quarterly poll, but what that ended up doing was we would then have to rush to read the book within the chunk of time. So rather than that, we have been changing it up. We did this last year. We thought it was very successful. We hope you agree. And we would do the poll for the entire year. So you were able, so we knew what our books were going to be all year. So we were able to read them when we had time. So we had more time to sort of process the books, look at them. And honestly, it was a much more fun process last year in terms of, when we could and could not vote on, we could not read things. So we really enjoyed having that time. So thank you so much for everyone who voted. This was actually one of our most popular polls. Sometimes I think it gets confounded because you could vote for up to three options. So it's possible people voted for all the options and inflated those numbers, but we don't care too much about that. All we know is, hooray, a lot of votes. We even had some folks reaching out directly because the poll wasn't working or there's something going on. So we had a listener of the show, Amanda, who wrote in and said, I could read the options, but the poll wasn't able to work for me. And there were so many good books on the list. And since it couldn't work, I didn't want to say, no, you can't vote because Patreon's page isn't working for you. So she was able to do a write-in ballot. Hanging Chads was a nice write-in ballot.
Wow.
Yep.
That's service.
Amanda voted, just so everyone knows, voted for
No.
The Anxious Generation,
Are you really reading
Atomic
her
Habits.
choices?
It's not a secret poll. And The Autistic Brain. And it mentions, I've added so many of these to my to-read list, though, which I mentioned I also have added many of these to my list, even though, I don't know if I'll get in on those. And Amanda will be very happy to know, and I'll tell you in just a minute, 2 of her choices did make the cut of the 3 books we will be doing this
Yes, Amanda.
year.
Yes.
So Amanda had her finger on the pulse of books and book clubs. All right. You already know what one? I'm having trouble pulling up the rules. Okay. So the winner, the most votes we have, and which probably means we'll do this one in the winter because we have our September book club picked out because it's Supervision September. We're going to be reading Oops.
I did it again. It's by Britney Spears.
That's a song.
On Supervision.
Not a book. We'll be reading Oops, and it's 13 supervisory practices that you shouldn't do. I'm forgetting the subtitle. But the main book is Oops by Dr. Aubrey Daniels. We're very excited to come back to Aubrey Daniels' work as Supervision. We did Bringing Out the Best in People so long ago, one of our earliest book clubs.
Yeah, before they were separated out as book clubs.
Yeah, it was before we had that system. So we're very excited to have that. And spoiler alert, we were able to get a special guest from Aubrey Daniels International, Dr. Judy Agnew.
By the way, you didn't tell me that you were emailing them, and I almost kept deleting those emails because I was like, why does Judy keep reaching out to us?
I thought I'd asked, does anyone want to does anyone have time?
You didn't talk
to us about it. So
sorry.
I kept being like, who is this Judy? She just keeps
a lot of people
emailing.
do email
a lot.
To ask if they can be on the show.
Well, sometimes I forget.
Which is usually not a strategy that works.
Well, I tell Diana things, and then I'm like, well, I told Diana. I'm assuming Jackie will also find out. Because you guys talk all the time.
I was in your house while you were talking about it underneath the bed while you guys were lying in bed. I was just listening. No. But I didn't know, so I kept being like, gosh, Judy.
But I'm very excited and happy to have.
Yes, we really are.
We had a great time talking about late great Aubrey Daniels. So we'll have that in addition to our discussion of Oops. That's going to be our September book club.
I did it again.
Jackie,
I'm not going to be able to.
So many times.
I am. I won't be able to stop.
I think you made it in the June preview. You're going to make it in the July preview. Let's just bring it back in August for no reason.
I did it again, August.
Okay. So we have that in September. So probably what will be our winter book club, if we do it in this order, will be the book Atomic Habits, which was our number one choice.
It was my choice. Because I've already read it. I read it as
you've actually recommended this book
multiple
to us multiple times.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm excited. I haven't read it.
By James Clear, sitting right in front of us right now. We're borrowing Jackie's.
This is something I won't be good at.
Atomic Habits?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's about goal setting.
Yeah, I know.
Diana is one of those magic people that is just sort of like, you know what? I think I'll do a thing now. And then she kind of just does it. And she's like, no, I won't do that anymore. And then she moves on to a new thing. Unlike most humans who are like, I have to focus on something. I have to make these like elaborate
Actually, very true.
plans.
I have to make many goals.
I have to have like spreadsheets. And Diana's like, I'm just going to do a thing. You know what? I'm going to do this research. And I'll just kind of get it going. And it happens. And then there we go. Like, I don't know how she can do it. I think it is annoying, not only because I wish I could do that, but also because then anyone else who has elaborate, crazy systems just to organize their life, you know, she doesn't quite appreciate those systems.
Welcome to my closet of unfinished projects.
Diana could have made like 50 businesses in the time we are recording this episode right now.
Yeah.
But we're keeping her too busy.
Yeah.
Talking about this stuff.
I have so many good ideas.
I know you do. You're idea master.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. So Atomic Habits, we'll see. Will it change Diana's whole life outlook? Or will she be like, no, I just like to show up and do the things magically and make it seem so effortless? Unlike the rest of us losers who need these atomic habits, I guess.
Now, what's
I don't know. I haven't read the book yet.
Okay.
So I can't really comment.
And what's the summer book club?
So the summer book club is The Body Keeps the Score.
No, next year.
Oh, well, spring would come next.
Well, we don't have a spring book club.
Well, we would have a spring book club.
But we don't have it in this.
Oh, it should be in our schedule because there's 4 seasons and 4 book clubs.
I'll put it in.
All right. So the next one, it's actually, we had a tie. It was not a tie, but Amanda's vote put it over the top. So we had a tie. We had The Anxious Generation, which is kind of making a lot of the rounds. Speaking of books that we read, I had already read that book because we did it in my school district as a sort of a collaborative book club discussing sort of how social media has ruined everything in the world, which I totally agree with, although I do think sometimes it's hard to have that conversation without sounding like I am the oldest person in the room and I'm complaining about young people things. However, Jonathan Haidt,
Old
the
man
author,
yells at cloud.
Yeah, he has a lot of, data to support this claim in terms of the real, just the downsides. And it seems like there's nothing but downsides for the consumption of social media and a lot of other factors too, with that being really kind of the key.
The cover of that book is attractive.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely looks like an anxious kid.
That always helps when the cover is attractive. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
So that has been tied, but that also was tied with Dr. Meryl Winston's Adventures in Special Education and Applied Behavior Analysis. So which one will come first? We don't know.
Why? Let's just pick it right
Oh,
now.
okay,
So
let's
I can
just pick
put
it right now.
So
There
I can
you
put
go.
it in the calendar.
All right, which
Let's
would
do the anxious mind first.
the anxious generation
Spring.
first?
The anxious
Okay, the anxious generation. All right. And then our next year's summer book club will be Adventures in Special Education and Applied Behavior Analysis by Dr. Meryl Winston.
All right.
Yay. So now we know what we'll be reading for the next year. Very exciting stuff. And if you were nominated books, it's an honor to be
Books,
nominated.
if you're listening.
But nobody wants to read you. So
No.
Not true. They might make the list again. At
Yeah.
some point.
That's
Keep
true.
it on the list.
we could do it like we did with direct instruction and just keep putting it on the poll until it finally gets chosen. All right. No, I like a lot of these, but I was shocked some of these did not either get higher votes or just didn't make it. We had one or two that were kind of the same topic too. I think like the disengaged teen. I know Alan had. That was very similar to Anxious Generation. So I think that's going to cover a lot of the same ground. So very exciting. Very happy. I do want to say of the book choices, Jackie, one of yours won. 2 out of 3 of mine.
Rob, I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
I just, it's nice to be a tastemaker is all I'm saying. It's really important. All right. And then finally, let's wrap up. We had another email, or actually it was a message on our Patreon page, which you can do if you join our Patreon. Really, you can join at the free level or the $5 or $10, any level you want to, and you can send us direct messages. You can send us emails too. But like Jackie said, she just deletes them if she doesn't know who you are.
That's not true.
Even if you're a potential guest, she's like, no, thank you. It's like,
No.
when am I coming on the show?
That's not true.
Delete. Not talking
true.
to you.
Not true.
But you can certainly message us in any of these places. And we had a different Amanda, not the same Amanda, but another Amanda reach out. And Amanda is a BCBA and works in early intervention and really wanted to know if we had any information we could share about floor time. And, we kind of got into it. Certainly that's not a topic that we have ever covered. We have put it on the list, so it is a potential topic for the future. But one of the things that she had sort of noted is there are a lot of other companies around that are offering floor time. And it seems like maybe offering it as sort of either an alternative to ABA or you need this in addition to ABA. So she wanted to learn more about it because, as much as we don't want ABA to just be a business, we do make a living doing, practicing ABA for clients. So she wanted to learn more about it and reached out to a company about floor time. And she sent the response. I'm not going to read the response that she got, but it was really nasty. I mean, there was a tone to the whole thing of we don't want you. We don't like BCBAs. Get out of Dodge. Get lost. And kind of left her really frustrated because she wanted to learn more about this, was doing her due diligence to learn more about a topic. Is this something that could be evidence-based? Is this something I could learn about? And, certainly some of the advice I gave was it's not something that would fall under behavior analytic practice. Jackie, you have a little more information you're going to share
as
too.
As its philosophy and principle, it doesn't fall under. So full disclosure, before I was a behavior analyst, I was a floor time therapist. I was trained in floor time. I went to lots of workshops. I got a certificate. My introduction to ABA was actually at a floor time conference.
Ooh.
Way back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I went to a floor time conference because that was my jam at that point. And they do look very similar, right? If you are doing naturalistic behavior analysis, right? You're not doing discrete trial, rote training, right? That floor time and the naturalistic portion of ABA do look very similar, but the philosophy behind them is really different. And floor time, the proponents of floor time are very much against behavior analysis because of its past, right? So because of what behavior analysis looked like, right, with those rote responding. So that part is very much against what floor time is. So I'm not surprised that she got a mean response because typically those two techniques don't mesh well. Could they? Absolutely. They absolutely could. But the philosophies and the people that do floor time feel like they're very much not doing things that behavior analysts would do, even though they are in a way, right? But it's so they haven't really examined the full breadth of ABA. They're taking mainstream, this is what ABA does and this is harmful, and right, that's what they're thinking. Oh, let's hold hands. Diane and I almost held hands because I was moving my hand.
It's very romantic.
But yeah, so here's how much they hate behavior analysis. When I was at the floor time conference in the late 90s, 2000s, I'm like an old person. I actually am an old person. I'm not like an old person. I am an old person. They invited Tristan Smith to talk at this floor-time conference. Yeah. And he's now passed away. But he was a huge leader in our field.
He was one of the top 10 conference invitees.
Yeah. And so they invited him to talk to this floor-time conference. I cannot believe he came. Yeah. And they threw binders at him during the conference while he was talking about naturalistic behavior analysis. They were throwing things at him. He was still talking through it. And so that is how I got introduced to ABA. And after the conference, I went up to him and I said, I'm so sorry. Like, I have never been to a conference where someone like booed someone that they invited, like an invited speaker. And he's like, well, you should really look at behavior analysis. And that is how I got introduced to behavior analysis through a floor-time therapy conference.
I knew there was a conference you went to, and that's sort of, I didn't remember it was a floor-time conference.
It was floor-time. So before behavior analysis, I was a floor-time therapist, and I also was trained as a play therapist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In some of the other things we talked about, kind of the message to Amanda was, that it's crummy, that you would get such a crappy response.
Yeah, everyone should be kind.
Yeah, like what's the point of pushing someone away? Because I got an email like that, I'd be like, you know what? I hate your floor time, and I hate you.
Definitely be that way. I'd be like, I'd probably cry.
I mean, if someone wrote about ABA, like, I'm interested in learning more about ABA, I'm like, oh, where are you coming from? Oh, that's stupid and you're dumb and I hate you. Don't learn about ABA. I'd be like, oh, it's a little different. Happy to share some resources, right? What's the point of not being inclusive to interested practitioners? Right. But certainly sort of wrote that I'm sure there was some beef that I was not as aware of. So thank you for adding some context to that, Jackie.
Yes, there has been a long-standing misunderstanding / argument between the two philosophies for many years.
Maybe we can bridge the gap because we're such friendly people. Who knows? But in any case, I also wrote that certainly if Amanda was learning more about floor time, I knew it wasn't covered under her behavior analysis, certifications and training. But if she wanted to learn more about it and then practice it, I did recommend a couple of our previous episodes on kind of sports and health. So some of the work like Julie Sloviak has done, as if you are practicing both at the same time, some caveats in terms of ethical practice of you can do both. You might not be able to do both at the same time. You need to be careful how you're marketing yourself. So I did send some of those resources along as well as she continues her own kind of professional journey, because I think it's great for us all to be able to branch out and learn new things, right? That's the whole point of the show. Anywho, so thank you so much for asking Amanda, and floor time, it's on the list of possible topics for the future. So thank you so much. And with that, someone's trying to share contacts with me.
It was just my phone.
Oh, okay. I can't make it go away. There we go. All right. With that, we're coming to the end of our preview. We've got everything lined up for July. Lots of awesome guests. We have everything lined up for the rest of the summer book clubs, September book clubs, spring book clubs, winter book clubs, even to next summer's book club. We got a lot of reading to do, so we better get back to it. We hope you are all enjoying the weather. If you're somewhere where the weather is not blisteringly hot or you have some time off. Otherwise, stay inside, get some AC, and maybe read one of our book club choices. We got a lot coming up. We'll be back next week with the first of our special guest month episodes. But until then, keep responding. Bye.
Bye.